The proposal to establish constitutional courts in Pakistan has sparked a lively and often emotional debate. Proponents argue that such courts are necessary for ensuring the rule of law and improving the handling of constitutional matters, while opponents fear that this move could undermine the authority of the Supreme Court and create institutional fragmentation. The timing of the proposed constitutional courts has raised eyebrows, with PTI, the largest opposition party, accusing the government of using it to keep their leader behind bars and extend an allegedly illegitimate regime. Critics claim the move is highly partisan and backed by non-political entities, fueling suspicion. What could be a positive reform is now seen as a wolf in sheep's clothing, leading to opposition from many, including the legal community. In this article, we'll break down the pros and cons of constitutional courts, how similar functions are being managed by neighboring countries like India, and look at examples from around the world. A constitutional court is a specialized court that deals exclusively with issues related to the constitutionality of laws, executive actions, and amendments. Unlike regular courts that handle civil, criminal, and administrative cases, constitutional courts focus solely on interpreting and enforcing the principles laid out in the country's constitution. One, focused expertise. Constitutional courts would be dedicated solely to interpreting the Constitution, which would ensure more expertise and consistency in decisions on constitutional matters. With Pakistan's constitution being a complex document with fundamental rights and federal provisions, a specialized body could improve legal clarity. Currently, due to the heavy case burden on higher courts, judges are often unable to spend the required amount of time deliberating complex and far-reaching constitutional issues, which in turn may cloud the integrity of the judgments. A constitutional court would allow for more thorough analysis of vital constitutional cases. 2. Relieving burden on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court of Pakistan is currently overburdened with civil, criminal, and constitutional cases. A constitutional court's taking over of the constitutional matters will allow the Supreme Court to focus on its appellate jurisdiction in non-constitutional issues. This could help speed up the delivery of justice and reduce case backlogs. According to the chairman of the PPP, 15% of constitutional cases take up 90% of the Supreme Court's time, which needs to be addressed. Currently, delays in the disbursement of justice are appalling, with many cases dragging on for years or even decades. This not only takes a heavy emotional and financial toll on individuals but also damages the nation's economy by fostering legal uncertainty, discouraging investment, and draining resources that could be better utilized elsewhere. A streamlined system could alleviate these burdens significantly. 3. Guarding against constitutional violations. In a politically volatile country like Pakistan, constitutional disputes frequently arise, whether it's about election laws, parliamentary dissolution, or the actions of the executive branch. A constitutional court could act as a neutral arbiter, ensuring that no political entity oversteps its constitutional authority. Many advanced countries, such as Germany, France, and South Africa, have long achieved these benefits through their own specialized constitutional courts, ensuring stability, constitutional integrity, and accountability in governance. Implementing a similar system in Pakistan could offer comparable protections. 1. Undermining the Supreme Court. Opponents argue that establishing a constitutional court would weaken the authority of the Supreme Court, which already has the power to adjudicate constitutional issues. By creating a parallel institution, Pakistan risks fragmenting the judiciary and creating conflicts over jurisdiction. 2. Political manipulation. Some fear that a new court could be politicized. In Pakistan, where the judiciary has played a crucial role in shaping the political landscape, the creation of a constitutional court could lead to political interference, especially if the appointments to this court are influenced by the government or other non-political actors. 3. Judicial conflicts. Introducing a constitutional court could lead to conflicting decisions between the Supreme Court and the Constitutional Court, especially if there is disagreement over jurisdictional boundaries. This could further complicate and delay the resolution of important cases. India, Pakistan's neighbor and largest democracy, does not have a separate constitutional court. Instead, constitutional issues are handled by the Supreme Court of India alongside civil and criminal cases. Despite this, India has developed a system where the Supreme Court acts as the guardian of the Constitution, particularly through its power of judicial review. The Indian Supreme Court's approach relies heavily on bench specialization, where larger or special benches are constituted to hear constitutional cases, especially in matters related to fundamental rights and public interest litigation. While this places a significant burden on the Indian judiciary, it has managed to protect constitutional integrity without needing a separate constitutional court. Several countries around the world have successfully implemented constitutional courts, and these courts play a unique role in maintaining constitutional order. Here's a list of countries that have constitutional courts and how they function alongside their Supreme Courts. Germany. The Federal Constitutional Court handles all constitutional matters, while the Federal Court of Justice deals with civil and criminal cases. This separation allows for greater specialization and consistency in constitutional jurisprudence. France. The Constitutional Council oversees constitutional challenges and reviews legislation for compatibility with the French Constitution. It operates independently of the Court of Cassation, which handles civil and criminal matters. Italy. The Constitutional Court reviews the constitutionality of laws, while the Court of Cassation serves as the highest court for non-constitutional matters. South Africa. The Constitutional Court is the highest court in constitutional matters, while the Supreme Court of Appeal deals with other legal cases. Turkey. The Constitutional Court of Turkey reviews the constitutionality of laws, presidential decrees, and parliamentary rules. It also adjudicates individual applications concerning violations of fundamental rights and freedoms. The court operates separately from the Court of Cassation, which handles civil and criminal matters, and the Council of State, which deals with administrative cases. The Constitutional Court's role in Turkey is to protect the constitutional framework and uphold democratic principles. In each of these countries, the Constitutional Court's role is distinct from that of the regular Supreme or appellate courts, focusing solely on maintaining the constitutional framework. Many countries also have administrative courts that handle disputes between individuals and government bodies, further relieving the burden on Supreme Courts. For instance, Germany has a system of administrative courts to deal with public law disputes, ensuring that specialized judges handle complex matters like public administration, taxation, and immigration. France's Council of State acts as the highest administrative court, addressing conflicts between individuals and public authorities, keeping these cases separate from civil and criminal matters. These specialized courts not only speed up the judicial process but also ensure that each category of law is handled by judges with the necessary expertise. Some countries also have other specialized courts that exist parallel to their Supreme Courts, each designed to handle specific legal areas. Labor courts. Countries like Germany and Sweden have dedicated courts for labor disputes, ensuring that issues between employers and employees are handled efficiently. Military courts. United States has military courts that handle military justice separately from civilian courts, while still being subject to review by the Supreme Court in constitutional matters. Tax courts. In countries like Canada and the United States, tax courts handle disputes between taxpayers and the government, ensuring that the judiciary can focus on this complex area of law. The debate over the establishment of constitutional courts in Pakistan is far from settled. While such courts could bring much-needed expertise and relieve the burden on the existing judiciary, concerns about jurisdictional conflicts and politicization remain. However, decentralization of judicial authority, spreading power across multiple bodies, would make it harder for any single entity to control the judiciary, promoting greater independence. This is not a novel idea. Banking and tax courts already function separately, focusing on specialized areas of law without disrupting the broader judicial structure. In addition to constitutional courts, the introduction of administrative courts could further ease the Supreme Court's heavy caseload by dealing with disputes involving government actions, regulations, and public administration. Many countries use administrative courts to handle specialized matters like labor disputes or public procurement areas where specific expertise is crucial. This could significantly enhance efficiency in Pakistan's judicial system. Moreover, creating constitutional courts is not about minimizing the powers of the Supreme Court, just like the creation of new provinces or districts does not diminish the authority of a country. Instead, it decentralizes and improves the administration of state institutions. In a country with a low judge-to-population ratio, adding more judges and support staff is critical, much like expanding medical personnel in a hospital to meet patient demands. Investing in constitutional and administrative courts and the broader judiciary is a far better use of public funds than allowing them to be swallowed by bureaucratic inefficiencies. In this case, spending more is not wasteful but necessary for the health of the justice system. Think of it like a transport analogy. When one passenger van is full, a second van is arranged, ensuring everyone reaches their destination without undermining the authority of anyone. Specialized courts, both constitutional and administrative, would alleviate the pressure on the Supreme Court while maintaining its authority. As Pakistan navigates these debates, examples from countries like Germany, France, and India provide valuable lessons in balancing constitutional integrity with judicial efficiency. Whether or not Pakistan establishes these courts, reforms to ensure faster justice and greater judicial independence will be key to meeting the country's growing legal and political challenges. Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. Should Pakistan have constitutional and administrative courts, or can the current system adapt to handle its challenges? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for more discussions on law and justice in Pakistan.